Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be going through my April TBR. I can't believe it's April already. That's a bit insane to me if we're being honest. Obviously, I did not have to read any of my TBR actually last month because I finished my TBR game, which meant I was supposed to make a new board for this month, which I didn't do. So I'm very sorry, but we'll be doing the same board for this month. Hopefully next month I'll actually do it. It is also Magical Readathon month, which I'm going to go through the prompts, but like honestly I only have like stuff for half of them. I like to try and do all of the prompts, and so that way I don't have to pick a calling until the September round. But I only have like prompts in for I'd say half of them, and I'm open to suggestions for the rest of them.
Okay, so hopefully this will be our last time using this board because I really need to make another one. I really do. I'm sorry that it's the same one, but let's see how many spins we're going to do this month. 3. So spin number 1. 4. Okay, so we have 2 different directions. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's blurbed. I think I'll go adult fantasy. Nice, easy. 2, 3, 4.
So our first spin landed us on an adult fantasy book, and for this I'm going to be reading The Tomb of Dragons by Catherine Addison. So this is the third and final book in the, what is it, Cemeteries of Amallo, I think, series. And so this is the spin-off series in the world of the Goblin Emperor. So the Goblin Emperor is a standalone fantasy. I highly recommend it. I really love that book. I like this series, not as much though. But I do still really like it. And so in this one we follow like a goblin character who is a witness for the dead. That means he can kind of like touch a dead body and see like their last few moments. And so he kind of has a job, a bit of like priest, but also a bit investigator and a bit of a lot of things. And we follow this character, and the 2 different books, they're kind of a little obviously there's the overarching plot of him and his powers and difficulties in his life, let's say, but we kind of have like a different kind of mystery in each of them. And so this is the third and final book, and I'm excited to read it. And with this I will hopefully then be able to put up my first edition of reading anticipated releases books.
Spin number 2. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a book off my physical TBR.
Okay, so spin number 2 landed us on a book off my physical TBR. So for this one, I just pushed into a random number generator the amount of books that I have on my physical TBR. We click it 3 times and whatever book I land on. And so I counted, and so not including like third books in like a series where I haven't read the second one and all of that, I have 12 books that I can read right now. So I have it up, so let's see what we're gonna read. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1 is Seasonal Fears by Shauna Maguire. So 2 is Assassin's Fate, and 3 is Jade War by Fauna Lee. So actually I am quite excited for this, but also scared. And also it's big. But it looks like I'm reading Jade War. So Jade War, this is the sequel to Jade City. So this is the second book in the Greenbone saga by Fauna Lee, and it follows a family, and in the city there is like 2 clans who kind of rule over this city, as well as like the jade supply. And jade can only be used by certain people, and it makes them stronger and faster. And there is like this new drug going around that makes people be able to use jade when they shouldn't. This follows the family as they kind of come back together with, there's like a lot of tension between them all, but they all like kind of have to come together to like form alliances and fight this other family kind of a thing. And I really liked the first book. I gave it a 5-star. It wasn't like an all-time favorite 5-star, but I do think this series could overall be a favorite series. So I'm hoping that I love it.
And my third and final spin. That was a really terrible spin, I'm sorry. And 8. So 1, that's a boat. We'll go. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a TBR game.
So then spin number 3 is actually a TBR game. And so for this one, I'm going to use Becca's Bookopoly. And I'm actually going to use like the one from 2020, because I was just like I literally just like clicked on Becca's channel, looked up Bookoply, like Bookoplathon, and that was for some reason the one that appeared for me. So 2020 is the board we're going with. So let's do a roll.
So let's see how many we're moving. So a 5 and a 1, so 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A dark cover. Okay.
So we got a dark cover, and not really sure what I want to read if I'm being 100% honest. I'm kind of leaning towards The Lies of Black Demora. I would consider this quite dark, but also I could go like really dark cover and read like Seasonal Fears. I think I'm gonna go with The Lies of Black Demora. So I believe this follows like a character called Loch Lamora, and he is a thief, and he very much steals from the rich and keeps for himself, which valid, I guess. And then he's kind of part of a group of thieves. I think somehow this entire group kind of ends up getting dragged into like scheming is going on in this city or world or whatever, and they, I think, have to do some sort of a heist. That is obviously, I'm sure, a terrible synopsis, but that is what I know of it. It's a heist and it's a group of thieves. So then I suppose we'll talk magical readathon. As I said, I'm very much like not putting anything set in stone right now. Very much could change. So the first one, Alchemy, all caps book title. For this, I'm going with The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. The audiobook copy that I have has all capital letters. And this is a nonfiction, and it tells the story of Henrietta Lacks, who is a black woman whose cells are used in basically like every research ever. And this was kind of without her knowledge or consent, and her family has basically not gotten anything for it. That's obviously like, the ethics of it are pretty bad. Then Animal Studies is steelbook from another TBR. Honestly, at the point that I'm filming this, not a lot of TBRs have been up. The only person who I saw have their TBR up was G from Book Roast. And the first one that she had on her TBR was Dungeon Crawler Carol, which I've heard such good things about, and I do want to read it. I'm not necessarily sure this is the month I want to read it, but I have tentatively put it in this spot. But again, another one I could definitely see myself changing once other people have put up their TBRs. Then Art of Illusion is a book already planned for this month. So for this one, The Lies of Loch Lamora can fit in there because, well, we've just planned it for this month. So Astronomy, which is a color wheel, so I guess we'll get a color wheel up. Spin that wheel. Red. Okay. Red. I don't really have a lot of red books, do I? I mean, does Jade War count? Oh, you know what, actually? Again, this one is probably stretching it. It has a red spine. The Final Strife by Sarah Ella Reefy. The Illumicrate have announced like stunning editions that I believe are going on sale in April. And I have obviously the first book. I haven't read it yet. And I want to know if it's really good. Should I buy those editions? So, even though I do like this cover, but like the Illumicrate editions are stunning. So this actually fits. So I think we shall be squeezing this. This is about an empire that is divided into blue bloods, red bloods, and I think clear bloods. And they all like are treated differently. I think the red bloods are like the rulers of this world and all of that. And I think however many years ago they stole this like rebellion, stole 3 children and like swapped them around. And now the time is coming where the new ruler is going to be chosen, and I'm gonna guess some sort of rebellion happens. Very good synopsises from me today. So then we have Conjuration, random country generator. So we'll also do that right now. And I think G said you can have 5 goes. Oh, I don't know how this works. Did I get anything? Okay, well, I got Palestine. There have been a lot of good recommendations going around, so I'm sure I'll actually be able to find a book for this very easily. And yeah, actually very good. Obviously, one of my goals this year is to read a lot more nonfiction, though I might necessarily read a nonfiction. I'll see about fiction as well. But like I'm probably gonna lean towards a nonfiction. And I think my library has a good few different books on the topic. So I'm not even gonna go for my other 4. I think one and done. So then Demonology is a book with a missing person. And so for this one, okay. This one is like pushing it, but I want to read it again. So I don't really care. And that is The Throne of Kings by Jen Lyons. I would say there's a lot of missing people in this book. people go missing, they get found, they get switched bodies. There's a lot of missing going on. And so The Rune of Kings is a reread for me. I want to reread them, though I'm going to probably like, I love rereading. Okay. Okay, we're going on a tangent here, guys. We're going on a tangent. I love a good reread, and I find that like with booktube and stuff, I don't get the opportunity to reread as much as I would like to. And I kind of want to start where just like I get one book a month where I can just reread it. And the first series I want to do is The Rune of Kings. I also obviously want to reread A Dark Shade of Magic. I usually do that every year. Last year was the first year I hadn't reread it in that year, which was strange for me. So that's another series that I want to read. But for the next 5 months, I'm going to focus on the Course of Dragon series. And yeah, and then I'll probably do A Dark Shade of Magic. But also the Shades of Magic series is like, I have to binge that. Like, I will just read that in like one book a day for 3 days, and then I'll be done with it. So maybe, it could be something else that I pick up. I don't really know. Well, I could do with a reread of the Witchlands series, maybe. So maybe when I'm done with the Course of Dragons, I might start on my Witchlands reread leading up to the release of Witchlight. Then Elemental Studies is a fruit on the cover. I do not have anything down for this because tell me books that have fruits on the cover, please. Spells and Incantations is words that are on my current read. So my current read is The Principle of the Moments by Esme Jacami Pearson. But also, like, I'm kind of like, I'm not putting anything down for this, because Principle and Moments is difficult ones. The and of, very easy to fill in, but I feel like that's a little bit of cheating. So I'm kind of just leaving this open, and whatever books I'm reading, I'll like have a nosy to see if there's any books that I want to read that have like words in common with the title, you know? So I'm leaving that open for now. Then Artificery is check time. And so I had to look up what G meant by this. So she meant like, look at your time. So for me, it's 12. And obviously, I'm not going to find a title with 12 words in it. That would be difficult, but 12 letters. And I do not own any books that have 12 letters. I went onto my library app and I went into my audiobooks, and literally the first book there had 12 letters. And I was like, oh, it looks like it's time. And that book was Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. This is her debut adult novel. If you didn't know, I like Cassandra Clare's books defined my teenage years, basically. Like, I was obsessed. That is how I actually got into the book community. I used to have a Cassandra Clare, like, Shadowhunters fan account. And when I tell you, I have like 6,000 followers on that thing. I did not love the last series in that world. So that's The Last Hours. I didn't love it. I gave the last book in that series a generous 3 stars, let's say. And I just kind of realized, I was like, oh, I'm definitely growing out of these. And so you would think I would be very excited for Cassandra Clare to finally be releasing adult books, but there's just a part of me that is like, but what if it's actually just her books? Because like a big problem wasn't necessarily the YA-ness of it. It was the fact that it was very repetitive, her books were to me. Especially that last series. I was like, okay, I've read this before. Like, this exact scene has happened before in a different series. And I think I'm just like a little afraid that like, even though she can do more because it's adult, doesn't mean she will, and doesn't mean she won't do the same stuff she's already been doing, just with like curse words, because like some adult novels definitely feel a little like that to me. So I'm very afraid, but I have actually heard really good things about this, even from people who didn't like grow up reading her books. Like, I've heard good things from people who have and haven't, and so I'm like cautiously optimistic about it. So then Inscription is try 3 books, the first sentence of 3 books, and choose one. Again, I will just do that whenever I'm ready to do that. Then we have Lore, with a music term in the title. If any of you have any suggestions, please let me know, because I have no idea. I don't know. Then we have Psionics and Divination, Witches and / Occult. Again, I don't have anything down for that, but like, it should be easy enough to find. And then Restoration is a book of 4+ stars on Goodreads. Jade War fits for that. And then Shapeshifting, dragon in the title, cover, or story. And The Tomb of Dragons has dragons in the title. So those are the books that I'm planning for this month. Again, I feel like don't take that seriously. I'm probably going to change a lot of it. But yeah, so any of these, have you read any of these? Are they any good? Help me with the ones that I have nothing for, please. Pretty please. So yes, so thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.